Okay, let's all take a deep breath. Now that we have a little bit of time between us and the stock market and what has happened today, let's try and unpack it. I want to talk today about three things. I want to talk about how the new way to revolt peacefully is the stock market, except it might not always be peaceful because of how things got handled today. But two, I want to talk about how our freedom of speech has technically been obliterated by how we've been silenced, if you will, today and yesterday. And then I also want to talk about how someone can short a stock. Let's first welcome to Let's Get Invested. My name is Tori. If you like the content that you see today, please like, subscribe, and ring that stock bell down below. But let's talk about what happens when someone shorts. So I'm going to switch over to my computer and kind of show you a dialogue of what's going on and how that works. Okay, so let's kind of talk what happened today with the stock market. First, let's talk about what's called the short squeeze, okay? Short squeeze. That's what this is, and it's when person one and person two, okay? Person one thinks the price of something will go up, price up, and person two thinks the price will go down. Okay. All right. Now in this scenario, this is GameStop. They own GameStop, ticker symbol GME. They think the price is going to go up. Person two thinks the price is going to go down. So they don't buy anything. But here's what they do. They borrow these stocks. They borrow them and they sell them at market rate. Sell at market rate. So say they're around $70 per share. Okay, so they sell it at market rate. Then when the stock drops, they buy the stock back when it's trading lower. Say around $20 a share. Okay, then what they do is then they return, you see it all? Yeah, return the stock back at $20. So they make a profit of 50. My husband has the baby, don't worry about the crying. He's putting her to bed. Okay, so they have a return and a profit of $50 a share. Now what happens is when the stock doesn't go down and it goes up, so when they're wrong and the price goes up, they have to buy it back at the higher price. So if the stock goes up, they have to buy them back at 80 because they still have to return the stock. They have to buy it back at like 80 a share. So then they lose $10 per what they already, well, they lose 80 plus more because they have to return it. Okay, now, so what happens if they're wrong and it goes higher, like in this case, the stock price goes up, and so they have to buy it at a higher price. Now, what happened, and the reason today sucked that, here's my notes over here, you can see. The reason today was really sketchy was because Robinhood stopped anyone from buying. So what happens when people cannot buy Robinhood? Robinhood bad right now. Sad face. What happens when Robinhood doesn't let you buy? Well, when people don't buy it, it doesn't push the stock price higher. It pushes it lower. So when there's a lower price, that means the hedge funds got to sell it or to buy the stock at a lower price. So when Robinhood said you can't buy today, it made it to where all the hedge fund, all the people, oh my cords, all the people that were shorting it were able to make their money in the time that people couldn't do what they want. So basically, free trade, I guess that doesn't really count as free trade. Free trade's more in between countries, but it allowed for people that were trying to buy normal shares, not to be able to make money because they could only sell it. They couldn't buy it. They couldn't get in on that. And then here, and when you can't buy it, it drives the price lower. When it's not being sold, it drives the price lower. And that makes these people, these P2, which I will call them hedge fund, or the establishment or jerks. But Robinhood's probably going to be sued. I mean, they made it to where people couldn't get their own money. I don't even know how to, but this is what's so short. They shorted it. They called the short squeeze. And this is kind of how it works. They borrow stocks they don't own from people that do own them, and they try and sell them. They buy them at market rate. They sell them when they're low, and then they return them to the people when they're lower. Like super, nah. Let's just talk about the new Revolt. So Wall Street Bets is a Reddit account that has a lot of stock traders, private stock traders talking, and they saw that the stock GameStop was going to be shorted, and so they decided as a collective that they would band together and fight against the tyranny that is the short sale. Basically, if someone's short selling, they're saying the stock's going to go down and they're going to make money on it, and if it goes up, they lose money. And so they decided that they were going to pump money into these stocks, so like AMC, Naked, and GameStop and a few others. I'll list them up here above, but they said they were going to pump them full of money and basically screw the shorts over. So a bunch of hedge fund managers that had short calls are saying that we're betting that this is going to go down, really got messed up, if you will. And so one of the things that happened is it made the stock market go crazy yesterday. Nobody really knew what was going on. So today, this morning, when you were trying to trade, when you were trying to buy GameStop or AMC, it actually shut the stock market down. Or like Robinhood and Webull and a few other platforms weren't even allowing the stock to be traded. And so on top of that, there's also another platform called Discord, and Discord is where a lot of stock traders can get on and chat and give each other advice, or say get in and get out. And so it makes it big hedge funds, they can put a bunch of money in and kind of control what the stock's going to do. But these Discord chats are now allowing private individuals like myself to band together with other individuals and make a stock go up or down and know when to sell out. So that's kind of, the private investor is getting a pull, basically. Well, that did not go over well at all today. So Discords got canceled, stocks got shut down or unable to be traded, and so did Reddit. Reddit let Wall Street Bets get back on last night, and you should see, I mean, it's just blowing up. But it's the new way to revolt against the 1%. And even on the Reddit link that started this, they were like, do you feel bad about shorting, or do you feel bad about making these people lose money? And they were like, well, they have 90%. Do I, feel bad that they only have 89% now? No, I'm sleeping soundly. And so that's kind of what's going on there. But let's talk about how freedom of speech was obliterated with, I mean, there's one thing of inciting violence, but to have free speech where you're talking about trading and trying to band together, I think this is a great way for individuals to express themselves and to band together and to do things. I don't think it's that great for the man or whatever. I don't think it, but when people get together and they form a collaborative, I think, some good things can be done as well. And so some of those things are saving businesses that they believe in. And, I think GameStop was really one of the true last cult followings, if you will. But freedom of speech was definitely, there wasn't a reason, there wasn't inciting of violence. There wasn't murder or hate speech or anything like that going on. For the platform to shut it down, some bigwigs somewhere had to have lost a ton of money for that to have even been an option. Now, Discord, on the other hand, the platform, so you can kind of, if you don't know what Discord and Reddit are, just think like Facebook and Twitter. They're of the stock market world. So Discord shut down some of their platforms or some of their talk areas, but that one I can kind of understand, because when you sign up for Discord, it says that you won't kind of push these things and that you won't flood the market or you won't do stuff like that. So that one I can kind of understand, but Reddit I think is in for some lawsuits or just some major smashing. And I think this opens up places like Facebook or places, offline maybe, or off like the beaten path. But I mean, all stock hedge fund managers now need to be hiring someone to monitor all of these sites, especially the larger ones, to see where they can get out before the aggravated crowd gets them. But I just don't see this as a terrible thing. That the regular man is able to purchase stocks now. They're able to influence what's going on, and it's not just these big conglomerates that don't necessarily have the human interest in mind. They have the bottom line in mind. So that's, again, my opinion. But if you like the content that you see today, please like, subscribe, and ring that stock bell down below.